So I just completely missed the recording, so I'm doing this again just to quickly go over what I didn't record. So I'm using my bash history to show a few examples. Let's take the output of one command and put it into another. Pipe it to BC, which is a calculator. So let's take 20 divided by 4, or 5. See what output that gives us. Hey, BC, rather than having to open up the kind of a shell of BC, we just type stuff to it. I could use that in a script or whatever. Great. So this is the kind of the pipe. So the shift backslash is also a pipe on most keyboards. All right, I want to take the output of one command and make it the input of another command. Rather, I want to take the output of one command and put it to a file. So I'm going to put echo, which is going to just print it to a line normally, but with the greater than sign, it's going to go to a file. And let's see. This exclamation dollar refers to the last argument of the last command. It prints the command that was expanded to, and prints the content of that file. Now, what I'm printing here is only the standard out. There's two special devices, standard out and standard error. And so we're not getting any errors here. For example, if I right here. But if I just listed a file that doesn't exist, I'll get an error on my standard out, which is my screen. But what I would like to have happen is for that error to go to the file. So what I need to do is put a 2 greater than, and it will redirect the output to example 2. Cat that example 2, and there's my error. Went to the file, not to the output, to my screen. So what if I wanted both the error, the standard out, and the standard error to go in my file? What I would need to do is do a greater than, and at the end of the line, oh my goodness. So you need a 2 greater than and 1. That's special speak for send both my standard error and standard out to that file. Here's my redirector. Goes to example 2. Now, what if I did that again? Are we going to see one error line or 2 error lines? We just saw one. So how do I get it to append? The way I do that is with 2 greater than signs, and it appends instead of overwrites the file. Okay, so that's what we'd like to see. So we've got piping from one output into the input of another. We've got redirecting output from one command to a file. We've got using the standard out or the standard error output to a file. We've got standard out and standard error to a file, and then appending standard out and standard error to a file. What if we wanted to use the output of that file as the input for another command? Let's take the output of echo this file to cat, and it prints out the contents of that file. Well, no, actually it doesn't. It takes, cat is taking this as a string and echoing that. What if I wanted to list that file? I happen to know that this file, well, we just created it up here. So let's take xargs. Xargs takes the standard input pushes that, uses that input as an argument for whatever you put after the xargs command, ls-AL. So with that, just a string, xarg kind of expands that as arguments to ls-AL, listing of this file. Let's see what else. Say I want to use that as input, that file as input for another command. So what if I doesn't seem very well. So what about cat? So forget about that example. There's something wrong, and rather than boring you with figuring it all out, the point is you take the output or the contents of one file and use it as input from another file. I might use this for, say, MySQL. MySQL dumped out the SQL of a database. I want to import it into another database or database server. I could just, run SQL and all my connection stuff here. Okay, so I could just take that input, type it into my SQL, and I would execute those SQL commands. So that's it. We'll maybe explore here docs another day. Those are some basics about input and output redirection.